Surely.
Congrats on the West End. That's great.
Oh, thanks.
That'd be so fun.
I think so. That's why I decided to do it. I just thought it'd be a fun new thing to do.
Who the fuck says no to that?
Yeah.
Be careful. You don't have an affair. That's what people in West End plays have an affair. It's a big thing, mate. It's a known thing.
It's a known phenomenon.
They get in a play, they have an affair, especially if you are playing like romantic interests. You want to be careful, mate.
Okay.
Because you might have an affair.
I don't want to do that.
Well, good. That's a good start.
Yeah. I think that's where a lot of people fall down when they when they go, I didn't want this to happen.
Yeah.
But actually sort of went into it wanting to happen. I think that's where the disconnect is.
A lot of them who take like big commitments like a play just so they don't have to spend time with their partner, I think end up having an affair.
Yeah, that's not what I've done actually. Although I think Lisa's pretty delighted with it, sort of having evenings free and stuff.
Right.
Good
Well,
for her.
as long as she's not doing a play, you're okay. I'm James Acaster, a stand-up comedian and friend of Romesh Ranganathan, and this is the Romesh Ranganathan.
Oh no, that's bad.
Don't really know him and don't know how to pronounce his surname. But I'm going to be on his show, and he seems like a lovely lad.
It's the Romesh Ranganathan show.
Oh, shut up, Romesh.
My guest today is a 5-time Edinburgh Comedy Award nominee, author of 3 Sunday Times bestsellers, co-host of the legendary Off Menu podcast, along with one of the nation's favourite breakfast cereals. He is Kettering's most famous export. He's also my mate. It's James Acaster, everybody.
No, good to be here.
Thank you so much for coming on, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, man. This is lovely.
Yeah, what do you think, genuinely?
I do think it's lovely. I think it's nice. I like that Ice Cube's represented there.
Yeah.
But then, because that's a personal thing to you, and I know that you like Ice Cube.
Now you're starting to think, are all these other things personal?
All these other things, like the Canon, I'm like...
That's an Arsenal thing.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
The Gooners.
Yeah.
A duck smoking a cigar.
That, as you know, that's something I've always felt strongly about.
It's your vibe.
I think they should just be allowed to do that.
Yeah, they should be allowed to do that, little ducklings. It is a duckling, actually.
Yeah.
Who we got here?
That's 2 members of De La Soul.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Which members are there? I'm going to try and see if I can, because I like De La Soul a lot.
Yeah. Difficult to tell, though, isn't it?
I think that's Trugoy, the dove.
Yeah.
I think that's Mace.
It is.
Great, got it.
Apologies to Posdnuos.
Yeah, why is he not?
Because the team didn't think aesthetically we could fit a third one in.
Fucking hell, guys. What?
Where would you put him?
Well,
I mean,
I'd probably get rid of the weird mushroom, the quartz mushroom that looks like something that a nerd in school would get on their holiday and collect at home. It's someone who collects them. I think you either collect them or you've got none of them. You can't have one.
It's weird to have one.
It's weird to have one.
Yeah, I agree.
That's something that some kid goes through a phase of getting them at caves on holiday. But you can't have one, so I'd ditch that.
Okay.
Is there a reason behind that?
No.
No.
Does anybody have a reason behind it?
Aesthetics.
Yeah. You got to get rid of that. You got to get.
What about this? What's the reason for this?
That's Easter Island head with a hoodie.
Oh, you mistook my question for. Could you explain this item?
Yeah, we both know what that is. No one's confused.
The question is, why is that there? I guess. What do you think it brings?
I guess because of your sort of you like travel. You've done a lot of travel shows, and you also like wearing hoodies,
right? Like
you're wearing one now.
Yeah.
In a way, it's sort of combining those two things.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So someone was like panic googling your interests.
Yeah.
On shopping on Google.
That's got ChatGPT written all over it. That.
Yeah. It's pretty good, actually. Now we've actually analysed it. I'd say that some of the bits should be better. Yeah.
Well, listen, it's a real honour. It's genuinely an honour to have you on the show. You're a mate and I'm a fan. We've actually got a gift for you.
Okay. So these musical bells.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a game. So
Go on.
Oh, I'm not taking these home.
What do you mean?
No, but you can have the tray as well.
I'll take the tray.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, that's a good chopping board.
Yeah.
The game is Kettle Ring That Bell.
Oh dear.
So,
Okay.
Ron, we'll start with you.
Yeah.
Oh,
You're going to name that. So it's name the tune from the bell.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Oh, fucking hell.
Three Blind Mice.
It's a good guess. It's a good guess.
This is. Merrily we roll along or something. I hate this. I just have to pass, I'm afraid.
I've got.
It's Mary Had a Little Lamb.
Oh, great.
Will you take those, do you think?
No. Why would I want those?
I think that's fair. I do think that's fair.
Yeah.
It's like the whole idea that you just take shit because it's free. Do you know what I mean? I think it's
Yeah, but also it's not like people say it's the thought that counts, and I would say there was no thought whatsoever put into that and the game.
Anyway, the game was a shit show. James, thank you so much for coming onto the show. It's a delight to have you on, man.
Yeah,
how's
pleasure.
life treating you generally?
All right, man. Yeah, pretty good. Yeah, can't complain. You know, just hanging out.
Do you have? I mean, look, if we were to summarise you,
Okay.
this is embarrassing. You might find it embarrassing, but you're one of the best to ever do stand up. You know, like the shows you put together are incredible. Like in a way that I think that, you know, when you start doing stand up, you a lot of the time you watch stand up and you think this is really good, but I can see how it's done. But I think do you know what I mean? Whereas I think when you I came to watch your West End run of the lasagna tour, and I watched it and I couldn't figure out how your brain had created that. It was like amazing, and that's something that people say about a lot of your shows, if not all of them. Do you have, like, creatively? Do you still have ambitions with regards to stand up? Because after that tour, you said you weren't going to do it ever again, and then you did the Hecklers show. What made you come back? And do you have things that you haven't done with stand up that you want to do?
Yeah, I think you realise. Thank you, by the way. That's very, very nice of you. Yeah. I think. Yeah, I kind of realised that I missed it a bit. I did want to do it. And that the main reason I didn't want to do it was because of all the things I found stressful. And to just go back and try and address those things and, like, get better at those. So that's the whole Hecklers Welcome Tour was... I mean, I probably shouldn't have charged people for what was essentially an exercise for myself. But, like, I was like, I'm going to try and get better at, like, doing stand-up and not telling the audience how much I'm hating them specifically and their reactions to my stand-up. So, like, that was the ambition there, was like, let's take that thing that you're rubbish at. Like, that's your most, like, I think with every show, you kind of go, okay, I want to get better at, especially in the early days, you're like, I want to get better at writing. Then it's what I want to get better at my delivery, my performance, maybe my improv or whatever. And then it just got to be this point where it's like, you still haven't sorted out getting better at this, like this kind of like, and not being able to just get your head down and do the show no matter what. You are delivering a show though, right? Yeah, that's still a show that I had. And that was part, because otherwise I wouldn't have cared. It had to be that I'd written a show, I'd worked really hard on it, and they were allowed to do whatever they wanted. So, because if you'd have just gone out, because I think when I initially saw it, like the announcement or the blurb for it, I assumed it was going to be you're just going to go out and go, come at me. Yeah. In which case you want them to get, like, that's a different thing because you want them to get involved. Whereas this is, I do have a thing that I want to deliver. But you're allowed to, and is it they can interrupt whenever the hell they want? They can do whatever they want, and it's like I had to say no violence and no hate speech, and what a shame you have to clarify that. But if you don't say that, they go, look, it's the purge. This is great. So I had to say that it's not purge rules, guys. But otherwise it was like you can do what you want. And some nights I'd do the whole show, and they wouldn't heckle; they just watch it. And then were you disappointed when that happened? No, because, like, actually, the thing that I think I really struggled the most with when before I did that show was when they would just quite quietly watch it. I didn't like hecklers. I didn't like them being on their phones or talking amongst themselves, but I really hated it when I would do this show I've worked really hard on, and they would watch it like it was a play quite quietly, and I'd be like, where's the laughs that were here the other week? And that's when I would really act up. And it's more embarrassing because they've done nothing wrong. No. They've not misbehaved. And they don't know
that you've performed this somewhere else and the audience have been different. They're just in there for that night, right?
Yeah, and I'm telling them off.
Yeah.
You know, and they've paid to see it. So those were actually the most useful ones where I'd come off and go, well, I don't think that went well. But at no point did I let them know that. And, you know, there are comics who from day one have been able to do that. I've never seen you tell an audience that they're rubbish. From day one, I've seen you just be able to do a gig and then I don't know how you feel about it until you come off. But I've just not been able to do that from day one. And I think assumed that it was just something that I would grow out of, or it was something that I'm doing the open mic circuit, or I'm doing like, you know, the club circuit, and you know, the gigs either aren't good or the audience aren't there to see me. But once I've got my own audience in the theatre, it's going to be brilliant.
Yeah.
And then you get that and go, oh no, actually it was me.
When you sort of got annoyed by touring, I did sort of recognise, because I think we had a couple of text conversations about the experience of touring and stuff, and we were chatting about it. And I remember John Richardson came to watch me in Blackburn, I think it was, and he said to me he felt there were some people in the audience that had seen me do like, I don't know, Ranganathan or a travel show or something, and then they've just gone, it's an evening with Romesh Ranganathan, let's just go watch. Yeah. And he said, like, I don't think they knew what the hell this was going to be. You know, they what their expectations are. Yeah. They don't even know what they're going to get. You know, they don't know it's going to be me talking about whatever I end up talking about. And so then, like, I think part of the problem is the disconnect between what you're doing and what you're trying to get audience by doing, that's not the only reason you do TV, but we're trying to build our profiles up. Yeah. And you do that by doing all of the different things, because you can't just do it by doing stand-up on TV. Yeah. So you do panel shows and all that shit. And then these people come and watch you, and they don't know this is what they're going to get. And so that's where the friction occurs, right? Yeah.
And I wish it was like that feeling when a friend comes along, especially another comic, and sits in the audience and they can tell you. And when you are that friend as well, like as a stand-up, it is quite I always feel it like when I'm sitting in an audience about to watch a mate do stand-up, I really want to be able to transfer this feeling to them on stage, so they know what it feels like in the audience, so that they're not taking any of this personally. And they know, like, it's actually like if you could just sit in here for a second, you would see that this is going really well, or that, actually, you don't need to worry about this one because they literally have never seen any stand-up before. They kind of come for the wrong reasons and just, have a nice time and go home, and it's okay. It's not that big of a deal. And because working it out on stage, having those thoughts on stage or afterwards is the thing that does my head in. Like on stage going like, have they just come because they saw me on? It's like, where are you even getting that from? Yeah. But and then afterwards being like, oh, I think they just saw that Bake Off thing and they came because of Bake Off, and then they came was my stand-up. And and you're saying that to your tour manager or whoever, and they're being very nice about it, but they might be like on the phone to their partner when they're back in the hotel going, he thought they were all Bake Off fans. He's like, he's gone nuts. Like he doesn't even seem to understand what was going on. They were liking it in the room. He was complaining afterwards. So I remember going to see you do a work in progress. Yeah. And one of the things I really wanted to tell you after, because you were talking about your relationship, and you were saying to me beforehand, I wanted to start speaking about just how much I love my wife and love being in this relationship. But I'm worried that, all I've done before is slag her off and that maybe they'll want more of that, and it will be a weird shift. And when you did it that night and shifted into it, as one of the things I wanted to tell you was you can feel it in the audience that they actually go, oh, cool. Yeah. As soon as you started talking about, at least in a positive way, and you weren't absolutely tearing it to shreds like you normally do, everyone was like, oh, this is cool. We haven't heard stories like this before, and there's a different angle on this one. But there's no way for you to know that on stage because they're just feeling it. And you feel it in the audience, and you feel that everyone around you, even though they're not talking, there's that feeling of, oh, we really want to hear about this and leaning into it. Yeah. But as the comic, because you haven't got to the punchlines yet or the laugh points, you're just standing there going, oh no, this is what I thought would happen. They're going away from me because I'm being nice about it. Oh, hey, I'm a kid. I just panic. But it was
when you're trying out stuff, the key is to disconnect yourself from how it's going, right? As much as you possibly can. Yeah. right? Is to go, even if I like, you have to let go of your ego, really, because like the more you piss around and like play with it in this stage, when it doesn't matter, the better the thing's going to be at the end of it.
Yeah.
But as it goes further along, the fear factor, the pressure's up. You're doing a bigger room. You're doing a work in progress in a bigger room. It becomes harder and harder, right?
Yeah, I and that's why like I'd act out the most when I was on tour, and they're paying the most amount of money.
Yeah.
Because like now I'm really worried that they're not really liking it, and I'm getting annoyed because like it went well before in the work in progresses, and now I'm doing the proper show, and then they don't like it, and then you get all those. Start to analyse the room wrong. And go, oh yeah, of course, all the comedy nerds who really love comedy, they come to all the work in progresses because they want to see the process. And then all the people who watch it on TV and don't even know what stand-up is, they come to these ones, and then the show's as good as it'll ever be, but for the worst audience. What's the point of this? And then I'm getting annoyed about that.
Yeah.
And then really not being able to park my ego or like disconnect myself from how it's going. It's all about like, well, this was meant to be this huge moment that was going to be brilliant, and it's not. And like that's so much of that is wrong and upside down. And it should be like, well, for starters, tonight is not about you having a good evening, James. It is. It's very basic fundamentals of stand-up. It is about them having a nice night. So how about you focus on that and just mess around and enjoy the show, and just remember they haven't seen it every single work in progress you've done. And also like I've been in audiences. I saw like. I don't think she'll mind me saying this, but I saw Josie Long before I became a comic do a gig, a tour show, maybe to about 20 people in Northampton, which is pretty good numbers for Northampton, to be honest.
Yeah.
But like...
It's the best audience size in Northampton, I'd say.
Yeah. And it changed my life. It made me want to be a stand-up comedian. And then when I met her, when I'd become a stand-up and it just become my job, I told her that. And she went, oh, I remember that gig. It was the worst of the tour. And you're like, oh yeah. And then when I thought back to it, I was like, oh yeah, we were just sitting there. And I probably wasn't like really going for it laughing. Like I was reacting probably like I reacted to those bells. I probably was sitting there like just like looking at going, oh, wasn't expecting this. This is different. Yeah. And in my head going, oh, you can do all this with stand-up. That's amazing. But she probably looked at me and went, why is this miserable prick shown up just staring at me like this, like he's figuring me out? Whereas actually I'm thinking, this is a whole new art form I didn't know existed, and actually I'd like to do this, and I think this is like what I'd like to do next, because I actually don't know what I'm going to do, and this is amazing. In my head I'm getting so excited, but my body's just like that. And you try and remind yourself all the time, maybe that person's it, but then you don't believe it about yourself.
No.
You don't think there might be someone in the audience tonight and this changes their life. You don't know. That I will be lucky if they don't complain about how bad this is. I
know. I remember like actually even like when Ben and I first met, he came to this gig, and it was like when we first got to know each other, that it's that weird corporate gig thing, and I was just about to go to Edinburgh, and Ben messaged me after going, that was such a great gig, like a few days later or something. What he didn't know was that in my mind it had gone so badly that I left the venue immediately and walked along Oxford Street spiralling about how I couldn't do Edinburgh, and I was going to phone, I was just like, this is fucking horrible. And you do get so caught up at I've had moments where I think you're at your most vulnerable when for me, I've been at my most vulnerable when the tour's just started, and so you feel like you're not doing it to these people you're not behind a closed door going, have a look at this thing I'm working on. Then you're going, this is it, you're actually serving it at the dinner party or whatever. And that's when you're most vulnerable. And I remember once I just started a tour, and somebody said, it's such an innocuous message, right? It's such a simple thing, going, hi Rom, and I don't even know why I was reading. It's like a DM, it was like, hi Rom, came to your show last night, really liked it. I mean, my wife didn't like it as much, but I fucking nearly had a breakdown. And then I have to then I phone Flo, my age, who and phone her up and going, I don't know about this tour, and she's having to entertain this fucking thunder narcissist on the other end going, oh yeah, it did, yes, they all did laugh and stuff, and it's going really well, but one person sent me a message saying his wife didn't like it, and then it's just like, what she should be saying is, are you fucking serious? Are you serious? Like, you're doing the thing that you've wanted to do for years, and it's not worked out. And like, somebody sent you a message saying not even they didn't like it. I liked it, my wife didn't. And then it's like having a part, like, you know, somebody that you really love in your life. You sort of say to, and Lisa's very like matter of fact about it. She's just like, Rom, think about what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? It's sort of like she's been supportive, but at the same time, this is like, look at the rationally, look at what has sent you on this spiral, man. It's like, it's not okay.
You do need that. You need people who will say that and will go like, okay, listen, like, you know, I care about you, and I'm really sorry that you're feeling like this. It is bad, but we need to like be realistic as well. And just look here, because sometimes people will say stuff, and I've grown now to like appreciate that they're saying it to make you feel better, but actually, if you stop and step back, it's not. So a classic one is people go, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it actually is on the audience, because what are they doing? Like paying to see something, showing up to something, and then they don't even know what it is, or what they're doing, showing up to see you, and like apparently they're fans of yours, and then they're not getting into it.
Yeah,
and then you go, yeah, they're right, and then you go, hold on, I pay to see things that I'm a fan of and who I love, like musicians I love, and I go, well, that was shit. I love every album they've ever done. The venue's rubbish, or I didn't like the way they performed that. It didn't seem like they wanted to be here, or like I just did it to a backing track, or whatever the thing is, and I come away whinging. And absolutely, I shouldn't just be like, well, I'm a fan of them, and I've come, I'm the one who's travelled and paid to see it, so I should like it. And if I don't, I'm a knobhead. What is my problem? You know, when they've not really put on a very good show, or it's just not my taste. You go and see films all the time at the cinema, and directors you love, actors you love, whatever, and you might go, okay, that one's not for me. But someone would go up to me and go, I thought you said you were a Paul Thomas Anderson fan. You should like every single one of his films. Well, no, I could take some and leave some. Well, that's not an option. You ever like all of them, or you like none of them? What?
And the other thing is, like, when you go and see bands and you like they're touring an album you don't like as much, you go and watch it and you go, this isn't my favourite song. But you don't leave going on, well, I hate them now. No. Like, you just go, oh, that wasn't, you don't love them any less. You don't think any differently about them. You just go, that bit was where they went in a direction that I wasn't as into. Do you know what I mean? But
that's all it is.
There's no dislike.
Yeah, there's no you have to like it.
I know, it's mad. But then I think then you think that you want everyone to like everything you do. Yeah. It's insane. Yeah. It leads to you phoning your agent in the middle of a street saying, this DM really sent me into a spiral. Could you please entertain it? And sadly, for her 20% Flo did. Horrible.
I love the thought of the guy being like, I messaged him, telling him it was good. Don't worry, your views were represented. I told him you did not enjoy it. So he's not under the impression he had 100% of the audience. He doesn't think that everyone was loving it because you didn't like it.
We've got a question from my mum for you, James.
Yes, please.
Now, I've heard this question. Normally I don't hear them, but I've heard this one. It does sound quite stilted, is my warning for you.
Well, I still think about the last time.
Oh, my God. On the Ranganathan.
Went on Ranganathan, and it was so funny.
I can't remember the exact wording of it.
Well, someone had said that they had started doing started exercising and their boobs got bigger. I think your mum had said that.
Yes, her boobs have got bigger as a result of exercising,
it's all lockdown stuff. And so I said,
boobs and working out, that was all lockdown was about.
Yeah. So I said, I've been doing yoga and now my dick's massive. And your mum really laughed. And you went, you loved that, didn't you, mum? And she thought you'd said, you love that. Like, because then she went, I do love that.
Yeah.
As in,
I love big dick, and I cannot lie.
And I was laughing you were laughing and going, that's not what I asked you, and trying to say it. But she was like, she went, Romesh. And then you thought, oh, she's going to clear it up now. And she went, who wouldn't like a big dick? Which was such a funny thing to just to clear it up. And then she started talking about, your deceased father's penis.
Yeah.
And that
I forgot about that.
It wasn't very big.
I must have trauma blanked it.
I was in stitches, man.
Yeah.
I couldn't stop. I was on the floor. It was so funny.
Well, let's hear it. It's actually a dick-related question. I kid.
No.
Let's hear what it is.
Hi, James. I heard you want to go to Sri Lanka.
Is that true?
Romesh still don't know nothing about Sri Lanka and can't speak Tamil, even though we went on a travel show. Who would you go with and why?
The thing, so what I would say about that question is none of the information going into it is required for the final question. No. Who would you like to travel with? Why do we need to know that despite doing a travel show, I don't know how to speak the language, I don't know anything about... We don't need to know any of that.
But, you know, I tell you what, not many people's parents, not many comedians' parents would understand what is required of them in terms of being entertaining and just deliver it every time. and she knows. If I just say, I heard you want to go to Sri Lanka, who do you want to go with and why? She's like, that's not why
You make a good point.
That's not why people get me on.
You make a great point.
I've got to destroy my son.
Yeah.
As a little, that's very impressive.
Yeah.
That, she did it really well once
But
again.
she's somebody that I would love to experiment with, like seeing if the comedy could come from other areas.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like maybe she's frightened of just sort of saying she loves me.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? Like maybe she just go...
She could do that. But I think for you guys, that would be the final thing you did. Like, that would be a lovely, like...
Closing
way
off.
to close out your career together.
Yeah.
And the audience would love that. But I don't think they could then continue to watch you guys.
Right. So that would be the retirement.
Once you said that she loves you and she's proud of you and done all that, they would have to be like, okay, that's it.
Well, once somebody said that, you don't want to hear any more from them.
We can't go back to like slagging you off. And
she can't.
And we can't carry on with just like, his mum's proud of him.
No.
Because that
goes no further.
It's got to be that.
And then she can't just come back and go, you're such a disappointment.
Yeah.
You know, you've got an arse that's flat like chapati or whatever. You can't go back to those areas again.
No, you can't go back to that. But it would be good if one day there's
one
that kind
day.
There's that.
So, okay, why do you want to go to Sri Lanka? I don't mean that like
I've never been.
Right.
So, like, I love the food. And so I'd like to go there and have the authentic, proper food. It looks like a beautiful country. And, yeah, I just want to go and travel to places that are completely unlike anywhere I've been before. So, yeah, that's the main reason. And I think it's got good, like, nature and stuff, hasn't it? I like getting in amongst that. Yeah. But in terms of who I'd go with, I do sometimes get like people want to do travel shows and whatever, and I don't know if I would have. You
must have been offered or asked to do a travel show. Right?
Yes, but I don't know if I'd ever have the patience for it.
Right.
You know, you got to do the standing around, and you know, they're like, okay, we're going to film you walking up this hill, but if you just like wait there for 8, and then we're going to do it, and then you do this again, and you're going to eat that, but hold off on eating that.
Yeah.
And then you eat it, it's cold. And so I don't really want to. That's not how I want to see the world.
No,
I don't think I would be a fun travel companion for people. But if I was to do it, I would want to do it with another comedian's parent and make that comedian's parent my like travel buddy, and that's who I do the shows with. So like maybe your mum. I think it'd be funny to do it with your. Like, I've pitched for a few projects now. I've pitched that your mum is on it and you're not. And things that never got off the ground. but it was like, oh, it would be funny if Rom's mum did that. And like, we just got her on the show. There was something I was doing where we had to have someone in the audience who was asking the audience questions while I'm doing a quiz with people here. I was like, let's get Rom's mum. Because that would be funny that like Rom's mum's on it. And she's like, I've got this like dynamic with her and we never have Rom on. And it's just funny that like...
That is funny.
Yeah, I thought it'd be really good.
Yeah. But, and then what happened? Never got anywhere.
Well, the pilot, I spoke about the pilot on a different podcast and got in trouble for it. So I got all the... Actually, I didn't get in trouble for that bit. I spoke about 2 pilots on that podcast and got in trouble for the other one. But yeah, it was a pilot for Channel 4 that I thought was absolutely brilliant. It didn't get picked up, sadly. But I thought part of why it was brilliant was because everything went wrong.
Right.
But in a really entertaining way. And I thought it would have been great. And I think... that would be an even better ingredient to add to the chaos would be your mum.
So she didn't... I'm not just finding out that my mum was involved in the pilot for the first time.
No, sadly.
Okay. So you want to go to Sri Lanka with my mum?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that would be brilliant.
Yeah.
Or maybe your whole family. That would be great if it's your mum and your wife and your kids.
Oh.
And like all the people that you've had on camera with you. So no one who's not been on camera before.
Right.
But who was it? Did you get your uncle on one of them?
Yeah.
Yeah, get him. He's a character.
Yeah.
From what I remember. So I get all of them along.
Yeah.
And maybe I would pretend that they were my family, actually.
Right.
I would just say that it's my wife and kids, and this is my mum.
Yeah.
And what's your uncle called?
My uncle, Rags.
Oh, well, Rags is coming. I do all that because that was. I remember that was your vibe. I was like, Rags is here because it was like, he was like a character.
Yeah.
And I'd have all those kind of. I have the exact same relationship with all of them that you have, and I would never reference that like you, and it would be like an alternative universe or alternate universe where I'm just in that position. I'm still called James Acaster,
Right.
and that none of them have got my name. They're all called Ranganathan still, stuff. But like it's like they're my family.
Yeah.
And that would be the travel show. I'll just be doing it as a legitimate travel show with those like semi-scripted, semi-improvised like asides with the family. And at no point make you like the joke or anything. It's just and I'm me. I'm not acting like you. I'm acting like me.
Yeah, sure.
So,
I mean, it feels like you've watched those shows and thought these are good apart from one thing.
No. Because you have to watch those shows to understand my show.
Oh, I see. So this is like the inevitable sequel.
Just to be clear, actually.
Yeah, go on.
Because I know I'm saying I've turned down travel shows in the past, and it's no disrespect to the people who have pitched them. It is just because I'm too lazy to do them. I would do this one.
Right.
If someone wanted to pitch to me a travel show, and I know you've got a production company, that it is me and your entire family, and the thing is that I'm just doing the travel shows that you've done, but it's me instead of you.
Yeah.
I would love it. I would think it would be so much fun to do that. And then once people have seen yours, someone would tell them, Joe, that they've made like another version of this, but it's James Acaster says Romesh. And they're like, oh, well, with James Acaster's mum. And no, it's still Romesh's mum. But she's saying that James is her son and she's disappointed in him. And like Romesh's wife and kids and everyone. And he has the same, he's telling them what to do and they're not respecting him. But like, it's never referenced that, oh, Romesh wouldn't do this. Why are you talking to it? It's like James is just Romesh.
Yeah.
And they've remade him. He goes to the same places.
Exactly the same places.
All the same places every episode. Rags turns up. Yeah. I think that would be great.
I do think it'd be great. I mean, I'm at the stage now where I'm winding down and trying to be at home more. It feels like a real weird situation for me to finally make that decision. And then Lisa and the kids go, we're off to do some travel shows with James.
Yeah, but you look forward to seeing that though, watching the footage.
Oh
back.
yeah, I'd love to keep in touch with them via the show they've made with you.
Yeah. But you'd never be so when they FaceTime you or whatever, that's not in there.
No. Contact. No, I'm not in the show at all. No, I agree with that.
You don't exist in this universe.
Yeah.
Or you do, but like I guess you got My Life, but My Life never features in your travel logs. So you would still probably be out there somewhere.
Yeah.
Living a life.
But never referred to.
Never referred to. And I'm really excited about this now.
Yeah.
I think it would be genuinely
What do you
good.
think?
I actually genuinely think it could be quite good.
Yeah. I think it would.
Would you go to the same places or new places?
Same places.
So you go back to Sri Lanka and do the tour of Sri Lanka?
All the same places, doing the same activities, all of that.
So we don't have to do any research, right? It's all set up in a way. It's like
all set up.
Well, it's a damning indictment of how far you think Sri Lanka's moved on in the last, decade since we did that
And
show.
his kids are grown up, I guess.
Yeah.
They didn't come out on that one though. They
came
came
to America.
US.
Yeah.
I'll do the US one. I think I'd start with the US one.
Yeah. Okay.
Because that's got all of them in it.
Yeah.
Great. So I'd start with the US one, get Rags involved and and your mum and your family and your kids and stuff, and go to all the same places, do the same things, build up to doing the gig like you did.
So it's Just Another Immigrant, that one where he sells out.
I call it Just Another Immigrant.
You still call it that?
Yeah, that makes sense.
But
Though.
it still
Makes
works.
sense.
Probably get a different crowd.
You could go Just Another Immigrant, open brackets, but the good kind, close brackets.
Well, maybe I'll workshop that with my family when I'm out there and see what they want to call it.
I think it's a great idea. I like
think it would be fun.
I think it's difficult to get away if you're doing exactly the same show. But I think if a broadcaster, you don't think so?
I think that's the selling point.
And then but we genuinely put the tickets on sale, you might sell it out.
Yeah, I mean,
I would, because
Yeah.
now I'm not in the same place Romesh was. Romesh would sell it out now.
no.
So it's like, what's the venue?
It was what was it? The
How
Greek.
big is it?
5,000?
Yeah, that's not that. So that's funnier.
Yeah. Is it?
It's funnier that the whole thing is like, well, I booked this venue, and then it just sells out really early on in the series, and I've got nothing to worry about.
But that feels like you've taken out the whole engine of the... It's a really maverick
Yeah, but
decision.
then it's a funny series that I'm just going along, and I keep forgetting I've even got the gig in the diary because it's not a big deal.
Yeah, I don't know. Initially, I was cynical, but now I think it could be a good thing. Should we phone Lisa now and ask her? Should we, Ben? What do you think? Should we make it
Let's do
happen?
it.
All right,
I
great.
think that's great.
Okay,
I think it would be great.
James, we've got a game for you.
Mm.
It's called Misquoted.
Love it.
It's time for Misquoted. It's Misquoted. In this game, we give you some quotes, and some of them you've said, some of them you haven't.
Great.
Okay.
Okay.
This
is good.
And then you've just got to guess.
Yeah.
Here's the first one. I'm not an alpha male, so I think that even if people are a fan of me, that doesn't mean that they necessarily respect me.
I said that. Yeah.
Yeah. Big
That's-
issue 2025.
Yeah. They use that as the pull quote. I wasn't, because someone texted me about it. They said can't stop laughing at this because it was just the pull quote. I'm not an alpha male on my face. It's like that's the problem with that sort of stuff is that you look like you have elected for that to be the.
Well,
so you go, I want you to tell everyone, by the way, that I'm not an alpha male. That's very important.
I know.
As if I've not said it as a comment, a statement of like, well, we already know this,
Yeah.
you know. So they take it out of context and go, James Acaster was declaring he's not an alpha male.
Well,
it's like you with the.
The play. I mean, like,
Yeah.
so they said to me, they go to me, in order to announce this play, do you want to do just a quick 10-minute interview on the phone? So I go, yeah, all right. And
Oldest trick in the book.
yeah. So then so he goes to me, so how's it like being in the play? Like, you know, and what made you do this and da-da-da. And I chat to him all about it. And then he goes, you know, you're on a lot of stuff. And then we have I would say like a 30 seconds of the conversation is about overexposure.
Yeah.
And then the first I hear of it is somebody texting me going, oh, I liked your chat about being overexposed. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
And then the whole thing is just like about me and my paranoia about being, I mean, I do worry about it a little bit, but that wasn't the gist of the thing. It was like,
And it wasn't you bringing it up.
no.
The way they word it, they don't even say, now with these articles, we asked him this.
Yeah.
They just go, we wanted to see how Romesh feels about the play.
Yeah.
And then it just goes to you going, I don't think I'm overexposed.
I know.
It's like, well, that guy must think he's overexposed. He brought it
Yeah.
up out of nowhere.
Yeah, shit. Anyway, great quote though. I liked it.
Thank you.
Here's the next one. I'm not a big drinker, but I do have my moments.
I mean, I'm going to say that I said that. Yeah.
It's actually an alt from something you did say. You said, I'm not a big depressive, but I do have my moments.
Yeah.
Evening Standard 2017.
They're both true.
How is your mental health, by the way?
Up and down?
Yeah.
Yeah. You asked me 2 weeks ago, I'd say absolutely awful. But now it's pretty good.
You and I have that in common that I guess that we've talked about mental health a lot.
Uh-huh.
And then as you talk about it more, you become aware. You know, one of the things that I think I found better is being aware of, you can recognize the signs a bit more effectively. So like, it used to be that I'd just fucking absolutely spiral and I'd be like, I can't deal with this. And then I was able to recognize the early signs, but then what would happen is I'd still spiral. And I go, you're spiraling how you normally do.
Yeah.
You're aware of this. Like, so have you become any more effective at kind of dealing with all of that?
Yeah, but like not every single time. I don't knock it out the park every single time. But like, yeah, sometimes I do what you just said, and for the whole thing, I'm just going, well, this is happening now.
Yeah.
And then just start despairing about, oh, it's happening again. It's just going to happen for the rest of your life, and you just keep on falling into this.
Yeah.
But then other times I'm like, right, this is happening. So let's do some exercise. Let's start eating a bit better because you know that's not making you feel good, and maybe let's just go for a walk immediately, or let's and do some mindfulness, whatever the thing is. So sometimes I am better at just being like, here's a bunch of stuff works, do that stuff.
Do
and
you
other
know-
times not so much.
Do you know what your triggers are?
I mean, the gigs that I've not enjoyed,
Yeah.
massive. The biggest ones,
Right.
And that's not to put any pressure on anyone coming to see me do gigs.
Yeah. Relax. It's
But
going to
like,
be fun.
relax, it's fine. My mental health isn't hanging in the balance. But like, yeah. So with that, I'm at my best mental health wise when I'm preempting that before gigs. I'm not going, this gig will be shit, but going, it could be. So let's, before we go on, just like calm down a bit. Maybe anticipate if there's is a really quiet gig. How would I like to react to that?
Yeah.
And let's make sure we follow that plan through, and I won't feel as bad afterwards. And then afterwards, having a bit of time to decompress rather than just like walking straight off and, you know, interacting with people or onto a train or whatever. Maybe just sit in the dressing room for a bit and just like leave the gig there. And then that's what I'm trying to get better at is, you know, not taking the gig with me if it's gone badly and just going like, we'll leave it there and we don't have to analyze it anymore.
Did I tell you the Mark Schwartz? Have I told you the Mark Schwartzer story? Have I talked about this on this podcast before? I was doing, you know, Mark Schwartzer, goalkeeper.
Okay,
ex-goalkeeper.
I didn't, but no.
Anyway, so I was doing the Apollo. It's like my first. I think it was on a couple of tours ago. I was doing 4 nights at the Apollo, right?
Yeah.
And I couldn't believe it. Like absolutely couldn't believe it. So I was doing the first night, and I do the first half of the show, and it gets to the interval, and I, like an idiot, I look at my phone, and there's a tweet saying at Romesh Ranga at the Apollo, not enjoying this at all, right? Something like that. Okay. So that's on me.
Wow.
That's on me for what, I don't know what idiot decides to mainline direct feedback from the gig. Like, it's insanity.
Yeah.
Obviously, I then go into one of my little cute spirals.
Yeah.
So I'm absolutely like spinning out. I go to do the second half. I couldn't tell you how that second half went, right? I'm completely fucking batshit at this stage, right? All I'm thinking about is this one guy and how everything I'm doing must be making him hate it more and more and more. Complete, absolute fucking car crash mentally, right? I walk off stage, go into the thing, and then obviously people are excited for me because I'm doing the Apollo. Like everybody, like my friends, oh, that was great. And I'm just like, I'm not even there, you know, like completely fucked up. Then there's the, you know, the bar at the Apollo. We go to the bar, and Mark Schwartzer's there, right? And he says to me, and all I'm thinking is, I want to go and say thank you to people that have come because it's weird if I don't go and like, you know, I've got guests there. And then I'm just going to make a move as quickly as I possibly can.
And was he an Arsenal goalkeeper?
No.
So
but
you don't care about him that much?
Well, I do. You know, I care about him as a human. Okay. But anyway, I go to the bar and he goes to me, really enjoyed the show. And I go, thanks, man. It's all I could do was to go, thanks, man, and then just wander off. And like, so I do the rounds and I go off. And I don't think anything of it. I mean, when I say I don't think anything of it, that's one of... you know, that's so low on the list of things I'm thinking about. I'm trying to go to sleep and not cry in front of my family. You know, so anyway, I get over it. I come out the spiral. Months later, I get a text message from a mate saying, do you know that you're getting coated off a little bit on Fighting Talk, right? And I go, am I? And on Fighting Talk, they have an item, or they start discussing celebrity encounters that you found disappointing. And he is talking about the fact that he was really looking forward to meeting me. He'd been a big fan. He came to see me at the Apollo. Show was good. And all he wanted to do was come up and sort of say, really enjoyed the show. And that I couldn't have looked less interested in talking to him, right? So then I go into it, then I'm like, oh, I think I've gone back into that spiral again. Like that, I'm back in that evening. So then I message him on Twitter, but I can't say to him, I can't bring myself to, this is really bad, right? Not really bad. I can't bring myself to say, I was in a spiral because somebody tweeted, because like you'd understand that.
Yes, but also you don't want to make him feel bad. Like when when something... When you have had a little bad mental health period or whatever, you don't want to use that as a way of making someone feel bad about what they've done. So, well, actually. So I just messaged him going, look, man, I just heard like, you know, I couldn't listen to it, but I just knew that, you know, somebody had like told me what the gist of it is. So I just said, look, man, I'm really sorry. I was just really like, I was just in a bit of a funky place at that time. And so I wasn't as polite to you as I could have been. Like James Brown.
So I said to him, I'm really sorry that, and then he replied going, I didn't think anything that bad of it. I just, it was just like, I remembered like meeting you and you didn't seem, he didn't say, he phrased it really nicely actually. And so I was like, okay, cool. And I've never seen him since, so I don't know. I mean, I've never had I've never had a clean slate interaction with him ever since then. So.
If you do, you've got knock it out the park. You got to be amazing if you see him again.
Oh, I'm going to turn it on, man.
Yeah.
You know, I'm really going to go big. What's that?
Will's just get him on the show.
Get him on the show?
Get him on the show.
I know, but then what do we talk to him apart from that?
Goalkeeping.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk
That's
to him
it.
about a goalkeeper. For now.
I think goalkeeping's got to be pretty high on the list.
Okay.
Get your mum to ask me a question.
Yeah. This one is the one. Okay, this is
We
the
can
one.
skip that one if you don't like it.
No, I want to hear it now.
Okay, started baking it, had a breakdown.
Yeah.
Bon appetit.
Because we started making it. Does it say baking it on there?
Yeah.
So I didn't say that.
False.
Yeah, you tried to trick me.
But it doesn't. You can go false on the card. It says true. So there's no point going touche or like fucking mic drop. It's fucking wrong.
You absolutely. I wish there was a camera on you because you absolutely acted like you'd got him there. Like you slagged that one off, but it was a clever one because I got a letter wrong deliberately.
It was a real. That's a real red flag, if you don't mind me saying, about your behaviour there.
Yeah, sure.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
False.
Got
That's not
you.
what it says. Okay.
Forgetting that you've written that on the
Yeah.
card.
Fucking hell. It's having like podcast with Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Okay. It's our duty. It's our duty as comedians to go to places others wouldn't, like Wolverhampton or Skegness.
Yeah, I don't think I said that.
You didn't. You said it's our duty as comedians to go to places others wouldn't dare. If people get bored, that's their prerogative. I'll defend your right to be bored, but boredom is subjective, and what bores one person may thrill another.
There's no way I said that.
You did. Guardian 2013.
What a dick. Awful.
Saved by the Bell was the first TV show that I was obsessed with, and probably in my head is still a benchmark. It's the biggest TV show on the planet.
Definitely said that.
You did say that.
Yes.
Radio Times last year.
Don't mind if I do. Yeah.
True.
Love Saved by the Bell. True, that one.
Do you still like? Do you ever watch it now?
I haven't watched it back. I imagine it would be awful if I watched it back. But as a kid, it blew my mind.
James,
Yeah.
are you going to do any more music?
Yeah, I should be releasing an album next year. It's very different to the one that I did before, but like it's literally a music project that I started recording before I did stand up.
Yeah.
So like in 2007. So all the drums on it are me in 2007 and my friend playing all the bass and guitar. And then we kind of have returned to it over the years and finally finished it. So it will come out next year. And I'm so excited about it, even though I'm pretty sure it might be the most thing just for me that I'm releasing. But like,
Yeah. So I'm working on an album.
great.
And then I'm really having a lot of fun making it.
Yeah.
But I can't imagine a single person wants to hear it. So it is very self-indulgent in that way. But then it's good to do that, right?
I think if you're doing music and you're not a musician, but like you're known for other
Yeah.
stuff, I think you kind of have no choice but to approach it like that.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, if you're thinking about an audience for yourself as a music, like
I know.
It's just gonna get
it's so
confusing.
insane, isn't it?
it's like, well, what's that? What even is my audience in that regard? And at the end of the day, like, you know, when I see that someone who's not a musician but is like known for something else is releasing something, I either don't want to listen to it, or often I'll want to listen to it because they haven't shied away from the fact they are this other thing. They're not trying to go like, this is me, and now I'm a musician, I'm really serious or whatever. It's like that William Shatner album that he did with Ben Folds is absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
Because he goes, I'm William Shatner, and I'm going to be William Shatner for the whole album.
Yeah.
And this is like, when you think of William Shatner making an album, this is what it sounds like. And
Yeah,
I've just
yeah,
worked
yeah.
with a bunch of really great people. And so like, otherwise, yeah, sometimes it is just going to be for the person who's made it. And it was
Yeah.
really fun. And they loved it. And they know, you know, I'm going to get more eyes on this because I've got a profile anyway. But also people aren't going to take it seriously because of that same profile.
Yeah.
But whatever. I'm lucky to be in this situation. Let's do it.
With this album that you make, obviously you started it before you started doing comedy, but are you making any concessions to the fact that you're a comedian making music, or is it just, you know, is there any difference to how you'd approach it if you weren't coming into this as a comic?
I don't think so. I mean, I think with the last one I did, which was like a collaboration with loads of musicians during lockdown over the internet, I did make it like, I kind of just lent into the first idea I had and didn't worry about if it would look too comedian-y or whatever. So I dressed like an alligator for the whole thing. And that was because I genuinely wanted to do it. And I was like, there's a part of you that when you think of it goes, oh, no, you shouldn't do that because you're trying to do music now and you don't want to do anything that's funny. And then you're like, yes, I do. I do. Like, so that's not. So that was the lesson there, was just like, whatever this project feels like it should be, you just do that project. And so with this one, there's, nothing really that was like, oh, this feels like it should be funny or whatever, because all the songs were written before I even started doing stand-up. And if anything, we just simplified them even more because, you know, when I was 22, there was no meat in the audience halfway. So there's like 60 stems, 60 different parts on every single song, and we had to get those down so it was actually digestible. But like, you know, the music videos we're making are all from old camcorder footage from back then as well. So you're just putting them together. But yeah, I guess you do have the knowledge of, some people will know me, you know, pretty much everyone who listens to this or watches these videos knows me as a comedian. So there will be an element of, that's when he was 22 and had much bigger hair and was in a band and whatnot. But and you just decide that that'll be probably funny to people rather than if it was a band they hadn't heard of, it'd just be like, okay, it's some footage of them when they're younger. But it will be funny and that's fine. And it's fine to just include that footage and be like, I'm fine with people going like, he looks stupid when he was younger. You know?
So you're 40. Are you 40 now?
Yeah.
How's that?
I hated it to begin with. I'm liking it now. But when I turned 40, and I think maybe because of COVID and we all lost those few years. And so I think we all felt like, oh, I'm suddenly this age.
Yeah.
And that wasn't nice. And then like, that was like, then like moving towards 40 and being like, this is too soon. I thought I had more time before I got here. Yeah. And really didn't like turning 40. But actually now I quite like it. It's back to just feeling like, you know, it's the start of a new decade and another new, like, you know, chapter of, I didn't really learn as much as I thought I would in the last decade. So let's, you know, not put too much pressure on this one either. But like, I'm okay with it.
Do you have like, because I'm older than you, I'm 47 now. And so I to be honest with you.
Looking good for it.
Thank you so much. I am now like, I'm completely devoid of any ambition. And you know, I'm just sort of thinking, I'm just going to do whatever I feel like doing. Yeah. I don't, you know, and I'm not saying that like, I think that I've done the best stand-up I've ever wanted, you know, like I still think I haven't done, you know, I've not nailed it. I've not completed it, but I don't need to. You know, like whatever I do now I'm fine with. Do you have any like creative? Are there things like? Do you have like? Is there an imaginary vision board with like what you want to have got done by the time you stop doing all this?
No, I never had that because like when I was like starting out, you know, the band was the thing before I did stand up that I was like, this is going to be the rest of my life. And I did have it all in my head of like, we'll play that festival, we'll release an album like this, I planned it out so much I didn't enjoy it while I was doing it. So then with stand-up, I was like, you know, I mean, even though I famously said about not enjoying it, I have enjoyed it way more. There's been loads of stand-ups, you know, in my career that I've loved because I haven't gone, in a year's time I want to be here, in 5 years' time I want to be here, and all of that. Yeah. So there are loads of things I want to try to do, but I just feel so, kind of, similar to you, like, if I didn't get to do any of them, I'm still absolutely stunned with the stuff I have been able to do. Yeah. Like, even like when we filmed that Cinderella film, I was like, I'm doing a film.
I know.
I was like, this is insane. I shouldn't be here. Yeah. And like, you know, we're filming green screen and whatever. Yeah. And that was an exciting day. Yeah. We're going green screen. And we're on location last night.
Yeah. We're turning into mice.
I'm turning into a mouse with Ron. And Pierce Brosnan's in this film. I'm not in a scene with him, but I'm in a film with Pierce Brosnan, Minnie Driver. Yeah. And so, like, all that stuff that you just, like, you know, shouldn't have got to do, but you've got to do because you're a stand-up. I'm sure there are actors who then watch stand-ups in films and are like, are you kidding me? I'm an out-of-work actor and I could have done that better, and they've put him in. But, like, you know, we got a great life. But, like, so, there's other things I want to do, but, like, you know, I'll try and do them.
Yeah, but you're not bothered if you don't. Not bothered. That's not true.
Yeah, but like, I'm more bothered about getting better at stand-up. Yeah, and being able to grow that. I texted the drummer that I absolutely love called Seb Rockford, who's like on the last album music project I did, and I said to him like, "Oh, what you been up to?" And he went, "Just trying to get better at drumming." And I was like, "He's the best drummer in the world, mate."
Yeah.
But I was like, "Oh, that's why he loves drumming and enjoys it." And I thought, what a great attitude to be like. Most of us, when we're asked about our careers, we're just like, "Yeah, it's all right." If people say, "How you doing?" It's like, it's just tough at the minute. But these gigs are hard, or audiences have been shit, or whatever. But to just go, just trying to get better at this, felt pretty good. And I was like, oh, that I feel so much simpler as well, rather than going like, "Yeah, I'm trying to get in." Like, no one's giving me a TV show or whatever. And you're not appreciating the thing that you've got.
Yeah.
So like, I think just kind of going, I'm going to try and improve at this.
Do you reckon that's
feels
why?
better?
Do you reckon that's why you're so kind of selective about what you do? Because I think one of the problems for stand-up, not problems, one of the double-edged swords of being a stand-up is you get offered so much other stuff, and then when you get offered to do other bits, like then what they do is they take you away from that thing that you were doing, and they take you away from your time of actually just beating on your craft of becoming a better stand-up. Are you conscious of that when you're thinking about things to do?
No, I'll tell you what it honestly is that it's quite sobering the offers that you get through, because like it might seem like, oh, he just turns everything down and he's just so selective. If you looked at the stuff I get offered, you go, yeah, you turn all those down and it's shit. and when that is what you get offered, you do go, presuming there's a reason for the fact that I'm not getting, because you end up saying, again, it's those things, you hear yourself say it and go, okay, I've answered my own question here. You just talk to your agent or whatever and go, I want to do this, 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 and this. And then you go, you've just listed things that you've basically gone, why am I not getting offered stuff that Daniel Day-Lewis gets offered? and the finest musicians of their generation. And all, like, why am I not getting offered like documentaries like Louis Theroux gets offered and all of this? And then you're like, oh yeah, you want to do the best of everything. And you're getting offered the stuff that matches your capability and your reach. And you're not getting offered stuff that is beneath you. You are getting offered what you are capable of, and you don't want to do it because it's rubbish, but you're not any better. like what you're good at is doing stand-up, and no one's going to offer you that because you're already doing it by yourself. And so like, you kind of go like, it's not like a thing of, you go, oh, I probably wouldn't enjoy doing that, but then I do other stuff, everything I say yes to, because you go, I would enjoy that. And it's not like, when Ed and I did Celebrity Hunted, who was like, he went, I can't predict what you're going to say yes to. And I was like, but it's just, they went, do you want to go on the run while professional manhunters chase you? You go, yeah, I would like to do that. I think that would be fun. Whereas like, if someone goes, do you want to do a travel log where you go around, this amazing country and it will take this long to film it, and go, no, probably not, because I don't think I think 2 days in, I'll start going like, oh, I actually don't like waiting around to go and do all these things, and I'm not built for this. And I know that I'll be a nightmare. I won't be a nightmare to work, but I'll be like, not a fun. Like, but, James is making this shoot really fun. I'll just be sitting there going, they're like, I've got to go up and go and talk to this guy about, glass blowing or whatever. Rather not. And I'm not, really thinking like, oh, this is taking me away from the craft. I'm just like, oh, I shouldn't have said yes to this. I'm pretty bored now. Whereas like, there was not a moment, I don't think, on Celebrity Hunted where I thought, God, I said yes to this. I was like, yes, I'm on the run. This is funny. And I didn't even care about how it came out or like, what it looked. I haven't watched it because it was just like, I wanted the experience of what to do with it. And same with, Bake Off was just like, I watch Bake Off all the time. It's like, I want to be in the tent and make it, but it's not up until that point, I'd never done any shows like that before. I turned them down, but only because I didn't watch them, or I watched them and I thought, well, that will be too stressful. I love Strictly. I'm never going to do that. I think I would have a meltdown before the first episode went out in the rehearsals, so I know I can't do it. So it's never anything like highfalutin. It's just like you're going, I'd be so bad at it. Or
there must be a way around that with the like I did a thing with like, when you film with YouTubers, make TV with YouTubers, they're so frustrated with the process of making TV because they just literally go and shoot it and the thing's done. And like the idea of like, you want me to walk again into the hotel? Why?
Oh, and they're YouTubers who are successful if they're on those TV shows.
Yeah.
So not only do they not understand why they're being asked to do that, but they know that their instinct is right.
Yeah.
Because it's right every week and
Yeah.
they go viral and they've made so much money doing that. And now they're being asked by a format that is steadily dying.
Yeah.
Can you retake that and walk
Yeah.
up to there? And they're like looking at these people going,
Yeah.
you're idiots.
Yeah. Just see, everything you're doing it's shit. This is dead.
This is all rubbish.
This is dead.
This is why no one's watching TV.
You need to move towards me, not the other way round.
Yeah. Why are you telling me to do this? Let me tell you what we should do now. Because this is a waste of everyone's time. No one's
Yeah.
going to watch this. If I was to make a video on YouTube and I wasted this much time getting a good shot where they walk in the door and doing all these fake introductions to everyone, no one would watch it online. No
Yeah.
one would care about it. And especially when they've just proved with their instinct that it works. Which is why some of those YouTubers are absolute monsters.
Yeah, I mean, listen, what the worst thing you can find out is that you're right a lot of the time.
Yeah.
It's like, in terms of your humility
Yeah.
and ongoing interactions with other people, it's arguably the worst thing that could happen, right?
Yeah, because you're just like, everyone else is a moron. Yeah. That's why probably it's quite good for us that we're on stage going, well, rubbish again.
Yeah, yeah.
I was
think
wrong
it's,
again.
It's good for you. I
Yeah.
do think it's good for you. It's like eating your vegetables.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
It's like eating your vegetables.
Off menu, you're going to do it forever?
I don't think we'll do it forever, but we'll do it for a while. It's really lucky. Feel like I really landed on my feet. Love Ed and Ben, and genuinely love the topics that we're talking about. Love food, and love asking people what their dream meals are. Like, sincerely love asking them that. So, like, yeah, I can't see us stopping in the near future. Although I do remember when Josh Widdicombe stopped doing Quickly Kevin, the podcast that he did, the football podcast. They did an article about it. It might have been in The Guardian about how they were finishing it. And I did look at the photo with the three of them having finished and thought, I'm looking forward to that. That looks nice. They're going, we've stopped doing the podcast. I think that's strong.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, it's because you have this more popular podcast with Rob Beckett that
Yeah.
when you talk about raising your kids, I think the nannies get written out of that podcast a little bit with those guys. I would say they get written out of history. Don't know how. Is it hell if there are nannies there?
Has it made you like a super food expert now then?
No, I know more about food.
Yeah.
And that's just from hanging out with Ed anyway. He knows a lot about it. But I know more about food than I did, but I'm still not the person to go to for food recommendations or food advice, really, or like, any like questions people have about food. I usually just then give them Ed's number and go, you should just text this guy.
Ed's like properly, right?
He knows his stuff.
Yeah.
He knows his stuff. Whenever a guest brings up something I've never heard of before, he'll go, oh, yes, that's that. And I'm like, thank God I tied myself to this guy.
Yeah. Well, it's great. It's great. And also, it led to, I would say, humiliation for me.
It was great.
Where,
Such a great day in lockdown. I was laughing so hard.
two friends, it's lockdown, emotions are high. Can you pop on as a remote guest onto off menu?
Yeah.
I say yes.
Yeah.
And then midway through the chat, it's pointed out to me that everything I've suggested is deep fried,
Everything.
including the drink.
Everything. It was so funny. I think it's on the internet. It's clipped up just that moment because
The moment of realisation.
the visual moment of your face just goes. It's so sad. You look so sad.
How long before I knew did you and Ed know? Do you remember?
No, I think we realised it in the moment. It was one of us said, "So this is deep fried as well," and then we pieced it together and went back through the menu and realised all of this is deep fried.
Yeah, because I talked about deep fried lemonade as well.
Yeah, you talked about. So you didn't choose it.
No.
But you had talked about it. You had the Gobi 65, which I got into because of you.
Oh, good.
So
I'm
I've
glad.
started ordering it because of you, and it's delicious. And that's one of the best things about doing the podcast. Whenever I get recommendations from the guests, and I start doing it. But it was when you chose donuts as your dessert, and then we went back through the menu and realised you had just ordered everything was deep fried, and even the drink you had gone into some sort of fantasy in your head about how you either liked or would like to try deep fried lemonade because it is a thing. So you even went down that little daydream for a bit, even though you'd chosen, I believe, an ice blast.
I had chosen an ice blast, and in fact, I, as a result of doing that podcast, I was offered the opportunity to have the machine in my house.
Yeah, you had said that was a goal of yours.
Yeah,
but I guess you didn't do it.
No, because I've I don't live on my own.
Yeah,
like,
and also Tom Hanks in Big.
Yeah, and you just sort of think like you invite somebody round.
Yeah, and
you go, "Do you want an ice blast?" And they go, "Sorry, that's a red flag."
Yeah,
I'm going to leave immediately.
This isn't the cinema.
You're clearly a psychopath.
Why would I have an ice blast? Yeah.
Why? There's certain things where you just go, do you know what? I think I can live with only having ice blasts in retailers that have it. I don't need to have it on tap. And then they were saying we have to service it every now and again, and obviously you've got to get. I'm not.
Yeah, forget it.
I can't. I'm not going to wait in for the ice blast person to come and service the machine I've got in my kitchen. It's just fucking insane. Like, what's happening here?
One of the things I think about all the time is there's a day on Mock the Week where we were just chatting in between stuff, and it turned out that Dara and Gary Delaney both had pinball machines in their house.
Yeah.
That were like these pinball machines they'd played on that were like their favourites, and then they got them put in their house. And Dara said, obviously, the best bit is when you get it in your house is that you don't have to pay for it every time. You just got it, you just play in it. And Gary went, no, but I like that. So I do have to pay for it every time. It was one of those things you go, whoa, so forget the show we're doing. You pay 50p every time you want to play pinball in your own house. He was like, yeah. I was like, do you not like open it up every now and again and get the money out? He's like, no, just pay for it every time.
He pays for it every time?
Pays for it every time he wants to play pinball. To put a quid in or whatever it is. And then he plays it. And we were all, but he was like, that's part of it. I like it. I like the putting the money in at the beginning and then playing the pinball.
But just have a 50p that just, you put it in. I don't... Anyway.
I'm the same one that goes on and on. Yeah. He has to be, it's like, that's in there now. That's done. I guess one day, if times get tough enough, smash that pinball machine open. And
Sarah and Gary just going, it's not going as well as it used to.
Yeah.
We knew this would happen at some point. Break it open.
Let's get all the pinball quids.
Well, look, James, thank you so much for coming onto the podcast. It's been a delight.
For me. I loved it. And, I think
And
everyone in this room did a great job.
Yeah. The team always asked me to ask our guests for an exclusive, like, tidbit. Have you got anything?
Gary Delaney pays for his own pinball machine.
There you go. Thank you so much. Give it up for James Acaster, everybody. If you've enjoyed this episode of the Romesh Ranganathan Show, make sure you follow wherever you get your podcasts, Apple, Spotify, YouTube, all the big ones, and you can enjoy more great content like this. And in fact, I'd go further to say, even if you didn't enjoy this episode, just follow anyway for shits and giggles. And on the Thursday episode, we're going to be taking questions from viewers and listeners.
Oh.
So that's exciting, isn't it?
It's interesting.
Yeah. And if you've got an interesting story or a question for my mum and I, or even like a family dilemma you'd like us to help you with, please do get in touch via our email address, podcast@rangabee.com, or you can voice note or text on this number, 07731 62 33 55. I'm Romesh Ranganathan, and this has been the Romesh Ranganathan Show. What a narcissist. See you next time.
Oh, shut up, Romesh.